What's going on, guys? I'm just playing around with a couple of things real quick. Oh man, I messed up on that last video. Some audio issues. I apologize about that. If you were listening, that was probably pretty rough. Sometimes I go through some of these technical folly days. It's all good. It's living and learning, right? So with that said, bear with me for just 1 second. I'm also testing some restream stuff. It looks like it is working correctly, so that is awesome. Been wanting to get that going for a minute. I didn't realize how easy that was. So, alright, I will be back in just a few minutes. Listen to the music. What's going on, y'all? We are back. It's the third, I think the third time's a charm, right? That's what they say. So, yeah, I just had some internet problems and some technical problems. That was rough. But that is okay. It happens. So, I'm sure since I've been kind of doing this, that whole maintenance thing happened on Bitmex. Everyone was all freaking out about it, of course. Let's just go ahead and see this little article that came out. Everybody's already like, oh, what is this? How coincidental. It's manipulation, man. It's like manipulation for what, though? And manipulation is an overused phrase, I would say, in trading. It's like, when does it become manipulation? If you could manipulate, in big quotes I'm doing, price by putting in a bunch of orders and doing things, is that, I mean, would you do it to that level? And if you made price run because you had $100 million and you just bought Bitcoin because you didn't know about slippage, is that manipulation? I don't know. I don't think so. But I believe a lot of people feel that way. It's like the cool thing to think almost. But yeah, it did pop a good amount, about 5% in about 45 minutes. I was actually over at my buddy's house hanging out, and I was like, what? Is that alert correct? That can't be correct. Is that right? And it was like right here. It's like, wow, in 1 minute, that is a serious candle. So they came live and I guess started squeezing some shorts. I'm not really sure. That's what everybody was saying was going to happen. It's only up a little bit. We'll see. Price is just going to do what price is going to do. Usually people just try to ascribe like a news event or something, some type of an event to the price, but really it's just the price is where it's at. All right. Don't overthink it. So there's going to be a lot of people overthinking this and about how it's some conspiracy or some crap. I like me a good conspiracy, you know, but this is just kind of, it's just trading, guys. So a little bit after SoftBank was like, nah, man, who's Bitmain? We didn't put no money in there. And then Tencent didn't respond to any requests for info. And now DST Global, the third one, John Linfors, their managing partner, or a managing partner there, said, I can confirm that DST has never invested in Bitmain. So, again, like we talked about, it's just like flip-flopping these articles. It's just kind of gets annoying. Maybe next week they're like, oh, actually it wasn't in just Bitmain, it was called Bitmain, you know, Mining LLC Labs or something or whatever. It's like some other crap. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but just thought that was kind of funny. It just really total flip-flopping. So the SEC, if y'all don't know, needs to decide on the Proshares Bitcoin ETF this Thursday. So, and it's by this Thursday. It doesn't necessarily mean it is Thursday. I guess they could do like a surprise attack and announce it tomorrow. That would be pretty wild. I imagine they're going to take it to the end of the day. But we're going to get a surprise of these ETFs at some point. I'm not sure when that might be, but everyone's just assuming that it's not going to pass. Like, think of one of your friends that would be like, oh yeah, ETF's totally passing this week. No, it's not. It's definitely like hard probably to think about just one. So by Thursday they got to say something. I'd imagine it's by like the close of Thursday, probably around like market close. Like that would be 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So and they cannot delay this one anymore, so they will have to make a ultimate decision, yes or no. And if you don't know, Proshares is a very large company that does and manages the Qs, or the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ E.T.F. It's just 3 Qs. There you go. It is a very liquid product, traded a lot, has options, everything. And it's 1/10 of the size, roughly. So, oh wait, wrong one. There we go. Yeah, so QQQs, they're managing one of the most traded products on the market. So But that doesn't mean anything. The SEC did say earlier this year, though, that they would consider futures pinned proposals at the end of this recent January in 2018. So that's interesting. I think all of those are kind of futures pinned now, since we do have the futures, and they are based off indexes created by the CME group and other predominant figures in the space. So we're getting close, guys. One of these is just going to pop up and surprise everybody. Yeah, it's really hard to tell right now if it's like people are rallying on they might pass it into Thursday, or if this is just like a short squeeze, or if price is just going up because it's price. Yep, it's probably just the last one. Price is just going up. But what would happen, though, is after an ETF got approved, it's hard to say. It would probably go up, but that would probably be a very... I'd be careful with that rally. Until we can get over, like I've said many times, 12,000. We're not back in a bull market quite yet. All right. Twinkletoe twins. So they're teaming up with Bitstamp, Bitflyer, and Bittrex, with Gemini, of course, to create the Virtual Commodity Association. That's awesome. We need this. It's like CFTC, and they mention them right down here, in the SEC and other regulators heavily rely on self-regulatory organizations to monitor trading in everything from obscure swaps to shares in the biggest US companies. All right, so this is a good thing. This is building. Talked about this a little bit before, not that much. It's just showing more growth in this space, guys. If you're a fundamental guy, crypto is getting more fundamentals this year than I've seen in a while, but everyone hates it. The price is not reflecting that. What? Where's the ETF? If we don't have an ETF, this isn't going to make it. It's the only thing that makes currencies and assets worth anything, if they have an ETF. Period. Alright, so organization that will help them. And everybody else in this space, and those are pretty big players: Bitstamp, Bitflyer, and Bittrex. If you don't know Bitflyer, they're the main exchange over in Japan, where most of the volume is done as well, where it's also legal tender there. People keep forgetting this. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's like some weird, Ponzi scheme. It's like magic internet money, bros. Okay, well, Japan's a pretty legit country, size-wise, and everything, technologically, life, quality of life, etc., etc. It is a first world nation, so. All right, let's go to markets. Excuse me. So everything is showing like nice little single-digit greens, kind of in the middle on the 24-hour. This is Coin Checkup. If you don't know it, it rocks. It's my favorite one. It doesn't have everything CoinMarketCap has, like it doesn't have a Bitcoin dominance graph, which is pretty nifty. But it has other things that CoinMarketCap doesn't have, like other cool metrics. I use both of them, but I use Coin Checkup more now. But anyway, as we've been talking about, we need to get past this kind of bottoming here, is about 250. So if we can get over this 225, we should run up to 250 pretty good. And guys, y'all know that can happen real fast. It does not take long at all. We can have 10 to 20 billion come into this market like in a day, easy. That's nothing. All right, dominance still pretty good, holding high in the low 50s, as we've discussed before. The dominance of Bitcoin would make sense right now, as the market has gone bearish and kind of a little bit boring, and it's done. It's a slum. It's just sluggish, period. So a lot of stuff is getting sold off. And so now we're at the point too where Bitcoin needs to show everybody that this sector is turning around, and then things can follow it. So a lot of the smarter money is going to scale into Bitcoin before this market turns around and sell it out of altcoins. And I talk about that in depth a couple of videos ago. I do timestamp all of my videos so you can navigate them quickly and easily and skip the crap you don't want to listen to, and focus right and target right onto what you want to. So go check that out for more detailed explanation about that one. All right, let's go back to the main page here. Oh man, Ripple has done really good the last week, showing some real relative strength, along with IOTA. VeChain, clearly, oh my goodness, it's up 100%. 100%. All right, I know y'all want to look at it out there, so let's just go ahead and do that. Jeez, is that not crazy, guys? Oh, not that. That's not a good chart to look at. Let's go to, I guess maybe Bitfinex has a okay one. Yeah. Jeez, we can't get a little bit more data. Let's see here. We're going to go. Oh wait, nope, not that one. We gotta go to where our chart stuff is at. Our setup here. There we go. Let's go to VeChain real quick though, where we left off. Here it is. So we got to about 70 cents, $1.40, guys. This trash coin just said, "What? We're the next Bitcoin." And then next week they'll be trash again probably. But yeah, that happens a lot in this space. Just ramps, big old pumps, just to kind of maybe dump them more, most likely. But yeah, be careful. Don't try to FOMO into stuff like this, especially in a bear market. That is dangerous. I'm not a financial advisor. Do whatever the hell you want, but it's your money. But yeah, that is getting a little bit crazy. All right, let's just go jump into the BTC. Oh, where is Bitfinex? There we go. So let's take off internal stuff. Just look at some price action. Here we go. This green box we've had on here for a long time. Price is just dangling around in there. We had a nice run up. Everyone's been talking about it right after Bitmex. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who cares, guys? It's up there. It's above it. We've been discussing if a daily can close above 66, then we are bullish. The daily for this candle just started though for my time, which is Central Standard Time, like Chicago time, and we still got quite a while, like most of the day. So 18 hours left. So we'll see what happens. If we can maintain that on a daily, I think this is going to look nice and bullish, as we have been discussing. Okay, so do keep that in mind. It'd be real nice too if it closed above this purple exponential right there. Okay, man. Let's see, what if we do a measured move from this largest part of the sell-off? All right, you can see that the 1618 is about where we just pushed to 69, which also coincides with this moving average right there. So that's going to be hard to get through 69. You also had a lot of business done over on this side on the left of the chart. So the next run up is 2618. The next target is about 76, which is what we have been targeting, is mid 7,000s, and we've been targeting that for the last few days, pretty much since all of this consolidation. Okay, as long as it held 6,200, that was kind of our line in the sand. It has held that nicely. All right, that also coincides with this channel, or the top of this trend line. I'm sorry, it is not a channel. So where it did a false breakout. All this stuff lines up. It's really good when things stack on each other like that. I talk about that a lot. Don't forget it. And let's see. Yeah, we're also breaking out on this longer term Let me clean up the chart a little bit and show y'all. We'll go to the internal action. So here's DMI. Here we are. The bull or the bears needed to kind of have this momentum keep up and keep getting crushed down for bulls to even have any kind of thing. And DMI is a really good indicator if you don't use it. I talk about it a lot. I haven't made like a direct video about just DMI, but if you watch some of my other videos, I do explain how we use it quite frequently. And just for bears or bulls being strong, you want them to be over the mid 20s. I like 25 or 26, okay? So that is like the range. Anything above that, and they are firmly in control at the moment. Again, I'm looking at the chat. Feel free to ask any questions if you have them, or if you want to look at a coin or a stock or Forex or anything. I trade a little bit of all of it. So I'm very happy to look at all of that, and that's another reason I'm doing these shows, because I know trading can be kind of a lonely gig, and you forget to do some things, and having a trading buddy really is helpful. Okay, so with that said, we can be some trading buddies, man. Sub and bell and smash, get it in. All right, and maybe in the future too, we probably will do like, I'm not sure about the alerts and like trade setups, but we would probably do something similar to that. Still researching into the charts. So we're underneath this. The bears have lost the momentum, and the bulls have got above the mid-teen area. I like to do 16. They have gotten into where you need to pay attention to them now. Okay, that's what that means. Not that they're strong, but you need to be like, oh shit, they ain't playing. No, okay, hold up. What are they doing? What are they thinking about doing? And I'll show you a good example of that on this recent run-up. Since I've kind of been doing these videos, we only had the bulls kind of came right here and went over that mid-20s line, and they continued to stay above it, and they had nice strength, right, as the bears continue to fall. And now the bears are kind of forgotten about, but as the bears creep back up on this candle right here, they cross back above that 16 line, which I was just discussing. Let me make this a little bigger, because that is probably really hard to see. Hold on, give me 1 second, do a little adjustment action. There we go. That's a lot better, I'm sure. Okay. So, the example here I was showing y'all recently is that now green, the bulls, they are something to reckon with at the moment. They weren't for a while, and now we're above the teens, okay? So, to show you what happens on the other side when that goes, because this flip-flops, because markets go in waves and sine waves. It's not just straight, and never will be, at least not overall, maybe for a very short period of time. But anyway, this is where this candle triggers above the teens after being below the teens, so that means that it didn't really matter. They were non-existent, okay? So that's like, oh, we need to pay attention to them. And at the same time, the bulls are losing the momentum simultaneously, I guess is a better way to say it. And then the bears actually cross over on this candle and this candle over and regain their dominance, okay? So they regain their dominance, and they're above 26 now, so that means they're full strength. And then we continue to have another 800-ish point sell-off, almost 1,000 to the lows, okay? So this is very important to kind of pay attention to for overall trend. Obviously, yes, it can go up and down and get crazy like it does here, but nothing in trading is 100%. It doesn't exist, except for one thing. You will lose money. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. I know. But it is very, very true, okay? So, don't forget that, and that's okay. Excuse me. And that's okay. Like, losing money is part of this game, guys. Like, it's not a bad thing. Again, if you're listening, ask some questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Okay. Let's go into the 4 hour. Let me take a little sip here. All right, so this looks really good. The 4-hour is closing above the third exponential here. That is nice. So if we kind of stay above 66, 66 has turned to support. Okay. Okay. It's that simple. Don't overthink markets. Okay. The price is going to tell you what needs to happen. Every day that goes by, you get a little bit more info. Don't get too crazy with that info. Just take it for what it is. Don't force your opinion upon it, because that shit don't work. It might work like 1 out of 90 times, but then you lose like every other time. So and as you can see, we talked about this the last I guess few days, that it's kind of just been battling in this sideways action. This really got everybody a little bit scared, but you notice how it wasn't below any of these wicks. This was just like a little liquidation kind of area where they can trap and do a lot, like we talked about in the video from, I think it's episode 20. Please check that out. Check that one out. I explain like these dips and how institutional investors love to do this to get into even long positions. They're going to sell first to feel out and test everybody's strength, even though they know it's weak. So they get into this area in short, and they know lots of stops are all placed all up in here. Like all right here is like all the stops pretty much. And they know that. And they're clustered, right? They're all over in this part. And a lot of people want to get short right here too when it starts to break this area. So they have just a lot of liquidity to deal with. And people going both ways, because that minimizes their slippage to the maximum, because they can't just go into the order books and buy $1 million worth of coins. You can, but you can see what happens to the price when that occurs, which is what this candle was. I believe they were saying it was like a $15 million candle or something like that. It's one of those articles. But anyway, that's kind of in a short. Please go look at the other video. Again, I timestamp them too, so you'll be able to find that quickly. Let's see if the hour is giving us any tricks. No, it just told us that the bulls had been in charge since this candle back here on the DMI. And also the simple good old, if you don't want to get too crazy with indicators, then I would suggest that you just use RSI and maybe a couple moving averages, and that's it. To make it real simple. Because the more crap you put on there, you got too many inputs, and it starts messing with your brain. So as you can see on the hourly, we just hovered right above 50. Great, that shows strength. Same on the DMI, we hovered right around like this mid-20s area. And at the same time, too, though, we had the bulls. I'm sorry, the bears. The red line here started also going down while they were kind of stabilizing. So they weren't kind of trying to creep up and battle like chop, like back here. Okay, it's more like right here, or like right here. Bam. So hourly did go over 70. Oh my gosh, it's overbought. You gotta sell it. That's not what that means. I'm sorry, that is not, RSI is not that simple. Okay, real quick, a little RSI deal. I've talked about this in my earlier videos. Please go check those out and see for a detailed explanation on this. But real quick, it's not overbought just because it gets up to here. Okay, that's not the case. So it just has strength now. They really need to rename overbought and oversold. It just needs to be, it's strong and it's weak. Like, that's it. So now it's strong, and just because it's back below here and anything. So RSI, the way it really is used is once it gets up here, now it's real strong, especially on this time frame. Let's just stick on the hourly. So now we're here, strong. Okay, it doesn't lose the momentum until we can do like this and like this and like that, and it doesn't lose the momentum until it comes back below the 50. Okay, it's got to come below the 50 right there. If it doesn't, then it's still strong on that time frame. All right. Yeah, of course it can do this, right? And chop around the 50, but then that means it's probably ranging, and that's way harder to trade, especially for most people. And just harder generally speaking. But yeah, as you see here, this is bullish and strong, and it doesn't matter the time frame, just stick to that one, just relative to the time frame you're using. But it doesn't lose the momentum to the upside until this crosses and closes below 50. Some people like to go, I've seen people go up to like 55, 60, and also consider weakness below 40. Some of the better traders that I know have told me those numbers. So just food for thought. Again, not financial advice. Trade on your own accord. Do what you want with your money. Know that you probably will lose it, and that is okay. It's part of the game. All right, here we are. Bitcoin is coming up right on the 50 on the RSI though here. So let's see what happens. Let's go to Ethereum. Good old unicorn Vitalik, man. So this is an interesting pattern here. Let's just take off internals for a second just to get all price. So we had this little hammer guy, or big hammer, and we talked about it. That's a really good reversal pattern. And then we had like a inverted one, or shooting star or something, but it's odd that it was right after a hammer like this. It was almost like symmetrical hammers here, right? And so that business, that means there's a lot of value perceived in these 2 days. If all of this happened, business happened up here, down here, and then it all met right here, okay? So we were like, oh, that's a pretty decent one. And if you look at the volume too, you have like capitulation volume increasing into the sell-off, and then on the last big one gets bought up heavy on heavier volume than it started with. So that's all good signs. With some follow-through volume on this next candle, that was a pretty textbook move. But now what happened though is we got this engulfing candle followed by a little doji of sorts, a fat doji, and then a bigger engulfing candle past these lows. And then now, what's really funny, this price action is just too insane, is now we get back in and have a close back inside of this range, and then have a daily that is just kind of stuck again. So this green box seems to be the spot. We drew that a few days ago when it broke into here, and this said, you know, this keep careful of this range. Here it goes, breaking out of it, testing everybody. Maybe someone wanted to get really long, and they were pushing down. They got hard resistance here. Like, okay, well, we'll take that up and see. This could be accumulation right here, possibly, right? This is kind of what it usually looks like after when you have this pattern to the left. Like a little bit of stabilization. So I think now you have a really, it's printed and the chart has told you that 270-ish is going to be a line in the sand. All right, ultimately 250, right, the low of this wick, but really 270 below that, then you're probably talking about, which is about here, you're probably talking about some downside. Okay, just keep an eye on that. Let's go to the, actually, let's go to the internals real quick and see if we get any kind of hints. No, not really on the 4 hour. Let's see about on the 850. The 850 looks kind of good, all right? It's still a little weak, we're below, but we are, it's trying to get up over the mid-teens at the same time as the bears are losing momentum. So do keep an eye on that. Again, we do have the decision will need to be had, yes or no, for Proshares on where this crosshair is right here by this time. Could even be tomorrow. We'll see. Litecoin, it is. Litecoin dollar. All right. And I don't look at, if you're ever wondering why I don't look at dollar pair or Bitcoin pairs against the big boys like Litecoin, Ethereum, even Ripple, I just think that since they are big boys, that there's enough dollars actually chasing them already. So kind of, it just, I've found that those charts are better. And smaller coins, I do use Bitcoin pairing still, and I actually used to only use Bitcoin pairing and would exclusively do that. But since this market has gotten more mature, I have noticed that Just for an example, like here's a Bitcoin dollar chart, right? And you can see, man, that looks pretty gnarly. Bam, it's down $5. There's 300, here's 55. Okay, now let's look at the same time frame, but let's do it against the Bitcoin. And that was not the right, I forget, Binance does not have, they always try to sneak it in too. Here we go, Bitrex will have lots of history on the Bitcoin. And there is a chart of it in Bitcoin. Okay, this is way less useful. Now, unless you only want to increase your Bitcoin, and that's all you care about, then I guess pair everything in Bitcoin. But if you want to diversify and be across the board a little bit with, you know, your currency holdings and your investments, and, you know, use some of them in dollars, and I think the bigger ones warrant that. Again, let's go back to Litecoin dollar. There you go. So I guess after explaining that a little bit out loud, I think maybe it does just depend on maybe if you want to accumulate more Bitcoin regardless of the dollar Bitcoin price. And that's fine. Just do know that Bitcoin can still go down substantially from here. All right, anyway, channel, we're in it since December. Litecoin, boom, it's happening. We've got lots of touches on here. They're all over. Look at this, bada bing, bada boom. It's up, down, A. We did get weak on this one though. All right, bears decided to command and say, what's up, bitches? Y'all still want to play? And the bulls did, and they kind of went and hid. And you see some of the video clips on my earlier videos, the thumbnails. I have some funny ones on there with, you know, bulls just kind of chilling, hanging out, and just trying to fit the mood is the idea behind those, if you're ever wondering. The mood of what I think the market's kind of thinking. But here you go. We are trying to go up this trend line on a 4-hour. As you can see, let's see if we can keep that trajectory up. If we could, let's see what a measured move is right there. So our first target would be like about 66, which is about where this purple exponential is. We are right above about the 55 exponential. So we're just kind of chilling out here. Again, guys, look for Bitcoin mostly to lead all of this, okay? And you're probably like, well, what about VeChain? It's up 100%. Yeah, okay, well, it might be down 100% like tomorrow, so it's not a good benchmark, guys. Bitcoin is the benchmark right now. It probably will be for the foreseeable future, in my opinion. That is. So here we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. I wanted to go to the rips. The ripples. 34 cents. We are kind of making a little W pattern here if you like patterns. Okay. Okay. So those generally do break out to the upside. Not saying that. Again, not financial advice. This is for education and stuff like that. There's also a flag pattern here. You see like that. Boom. Breakouts on flag patterns are very bullish, of course. So this is a pretty interesting spot for Ripple. Ripple definitely did get sold off really hard. We were watching this very closely on all the other videos before. Again, go check them out, please. They have timestamps, so you can just go to the Ripple TA button and go from there. But yeah, we were talking about 42 cents, and if it broke 40, then that was it. Get out of there, because there was zero support until 20s, till mid 20s, and I mean it almost went there to the T with the big hammer. And a really good way to see that, if you're not familiar with volume profile, it is a very useful tool, especially when you first kind of start looking at charts. It helps just provide a visual of where business has been done. And so since you can kind of tell most of the business has been done, the value area is pretty much all these boxes that are greenish and purplish. And you can see, if you kind of zoom in here a little bit, once we broke this 41 cents, which is the bottom of this largest volume node, It literally didn't stop until it went right to the top of this next volume node, if y'all can see that, okay? Breached into it a little bit, came right back up to it, and now it's like, because it's easy to move it here, there's not many players, as you're seeing play out right now, so this isn't confirmation of a breakout yet. I would actually like to see it clear and get back up into the 40s. So this is definitely a more aggressive play at the moment if you wanted to play it long, in my opinion. Let's see if internals are giving us any clues. 4-hour bulls are still in power, and they also are barely on the RSI. There was a close right here in the 4-hour below 50, but DMI is not confirming that yet. Okay, so I like DMI a little bit. It's a little, it doesn't get faked out as much as the RSI does. On the 850, it still looks really good, and the daily's starting to look better. We need a couple days. If we had a couple more days upside, then it'll start forming out real well. But again, that all goes back to Bitcoin, and now it really leans on what's going to happen with this E.T.F. Or will it just be a big non-event too? It could be one of those. Big non-events happen all the time in equity markets. Think about a earnings play that just was sideways, and then it's just like, oh, everyone gets all hyped up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna go up, whatever, you don't know, screw you, what, it's up, it's down. Then everyone gets all crazy, and then nothing happens, and it's like flat, and then it's like, oh, well, that was super boring. Okay, well, let's go do something else. So that would be an interesting reaction, because everyone's just been so bottled up about it. All right, let's go to Ethereum Classic. Haven't looked at that in a while. I do like Charles Hoskinson. Damn, I'm butchering that. I'm sorry. Charles, Ethereum co-founder, Cardano guy, IOHK guy, good coder guy. Yeah, he's going down. That's probably one of the better, or at least in the top pioneers of this type of coding in the future, I'm sure. So here we are, bouncing on this trend line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Had a fake breakout over here. This is probably just that Coinbase snooze. If I remember, everybody was pumping into that. Easy play, guys. Do remember, though, buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news is the thing. Buy the rumor, so it's about to go on Coinbase. Or even if you know it's about to go on Coinbase, but do not hold it till that news comes out. And you can see this in so many coins where they did airdrops back in the day. They would see an example of that. I have a perfect one for you. It's called Next Coin, and this is actually going to fork into a new coin, and you got an airdrop by holding this coin. So everybody bought the crap out of it and sent it up. What is this? I don't know. 1200x. Okay. And then look at that, though. It went down faster than it went up. Okay, think about that. To show you, weekly does not even show you crap. Sorry. Let's look at a 3-day. There you go. So 3 days, and then look at that. In 3 days, lost all of it. Just boom, boom. Scared almost everybody on that one, but then it did, and eventually just bleed out forever. Look at that. Now we're back at all-time lows right before we started in the pump. Which is an interesting price zone, maybe. I don't know. Huh? Alright, let's look at XLM. Actually, no. We're gonna go finish up on Ethereum Classic, because we didn't look at any internals or anything. So let's go back to daily. Not really good yet. I like where the price is, though. It's in a good spot. Still have this awesome hammer right here with a big engulfing pattern right after that. So you do have great support here at about 1180. 1150 to 1180 should be really good support for Ethereum Classic, which from here, that's about, you know, 10% roughly. So not a terrible risk to reward position at all. Especially because it could easily go, what is it, September? Like late September. So cruising for 2 or 3 weeks, man. Go on vacation. That's like a millennia in crypto. XLM. The guy that said, screw you, Ripple. We're going to do this, our own thing. It's not going to be as Ripple-y. Wow, Ripple is looking, or XLM is looking pretty hot. I like this. This is a sexy chart to me, as long as we just keep chilling around this area. It needs to happen fast though. Again, everything is probably just waiting. Gosh, I have to keep saying that. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but that is what it is. That's where we're at. So on that note, let me see where we are at on time. I can't tell. It doesn't. Why doesn't this tell me? That's crazy, man. I'm trying out some new things, so. But I think we're probably around the 40-minute area or so. So guys, with that said, we're gonna go to Bitcoin with final thoughts, and I will leave y'all for the evening. Final thoughts are gonna be real quick because we just we laced them out pretty good. Here we go. Watch out for the resistance at 50. On the daily, we're looking good. On the 850, it is looking really nice. On the 4-hour, it looks superb. So the lower time frames are playing out with this sideways action around. Oh, let me make this a little bit bigger. Around where we were just hovering on the DMI positive around 25-ish, and that ended up pulling out. It was because of manipulation, though. Bitmex makes the ADI indicator, guys. Of course, I'm joking. So I don't really care about manipulation. That's just like a waste of brain energy. Focus on learning how to trade and learning setups and learning yourself and how to manage your risk and your emotions when you do things that are not your original plan. You get like long right here, and then you just shake out because this one candle, and it's like not even like wasn't even your plan. You're like, I'm gonna stop out at 6K, but oh, I'm scared, or maybe you had a bad day. You know, all these things. That's what makes it so hard to be a good trader. They all weigh into your decision-making skills. All right, guys, so 66 should be the new floor now. That should have turned support. I've got a little alert right here. If you needed to add an alert on your chart, just right-click, add alert. It's right there. It's super fast. It goes through a couple prompts. It's pretty easy. Here, I'll just show you. It's that fast. Bam, look at that. You can put any kind of thing you have on there, any kind of alert. It's super bad. Awesome ass right there. So, we got good volume, getting ready. Let's see if we can pump into this announcement for whatever reason, short squeeze, or people think it's going to get past. It's irrelevant. Price is showing that we are fairly bullish. Okay, so let's see if we can stay above 6,600. And guys, happy trading out there. Stay frosty. Plan your trade and trade your plan. Remember, opportunity is infinite. Your capital is finite. Alright guys, this is Z-Rex over at No Noise Research. Wishing you an awesome rest of your day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Peace.